Hey everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy hump day to you. Happy Wednesday. Whoop whoop. What are we doing today? Yes, what are we doing today? This is another smaller project. It is a mega block. Yes, that's what it is. It's called a mega block. And maybe you might be new and you're wondering, what's a mega block? That sounds like weird, right? In quilting, that's when you take one block and you make it into one block is the quilt. Okay, so I have, for this demonstration purposes, I have taken the double Sawtooth star block. You could find that in a 10.5. You could find it in a 12.5. You could find it in a 6.5 inch square in a normal quilt, right? However, we've taken that double Sawtooth star, love me some stars, hopefully you do too, and I've turned it into this 48-inch square quilt. Oh, yes, it is fun, fast, and actually it's not too hard. And I think my granddaughter's gonna love it because I actually use this fabric. It is by Color Principle Studio, and for Henry Glass, that is. So up here in the 5 different places that you'll see this is actually a pink multi-unicorn silhouette. And the dark color here is Royal Starry Night. Doesn't that sound fun? And this last one is pink multi-rainbow cloud texture. Okay, so that's a mouthful. So as usual, you won't have to memorize any of this part because I've done a supply sheet for you, which you can find at haloinspired.com/inspirations. Okay, and that link is down in the description box. Plus, I'll put it right here for those watching on TV, and it will be correct this week. But yeah, so what are we going to need for the unicorn fabric? In these places, you will need a 3/4 yard. The Royal Starry Night, you will need 3/4 yard. And the cloud texture, you will need 1 full yard. Okay, for backing, it's 2 3/4, and for binding, it's 1/2 yard for that. Okay, yes. Now, as usual, I've designed this in the idea of my granddaughter because she loves unicorns and she's itty bitty. And I think she's just gonna love this. But there's other things you can do with it. You do not have to use this particular fabric to make this block. And here are some other variations. I actually left one of them I have where I changed out the 4 corners with the same fabric line because I wanted to show you what that would look like. And then I've done a couple more where you know, it could be different colors, other fabrics. You could do this in a really scrappy way. You're just gonna, these blocks are really big, so you need to have enough of those sizes of fabric that will match the size of these blocks. Because like I said, they're big blocks, and we'll talk more about that as we get into the video and I show you how we're gonna put this together. But I just wanted to give you some ideas. At any rate, again, you can find the supply sheet on our website. All of the fabric that I used in this video is also in our shop. So address will be right here. Link is down in the description box. But you know what? I'm talking too much again because I just love talking to you. But I am talking too much. Let's just go ahead and get this started. I'll see you guys in just a sec. Okay, so the first thing is first. We're going to cut our blocks up. Okay, so there are 5 12.5 inch blocks, and those are going to be used for the 4 corners and for the center. Okay, then we will cut 13 of one color, 13-inch squares, 4 of them of one color, a light, and 13-inch dark colored squares, 4 of those. Then we'll cut 7, is that the right one? Yes, 4 7-inch squares of the light, 4 7-inch squares of the dark, and then 4 6.5-inch squares. Now I want to explain something. I'm doing something a little different because I talked about this before. I'm making this for my granddaughter, so I'm trying to put in a lot of unicorns. You want to be careful with directional fabric, but these 12.5-inch squares, if we look at this picture, what they are going to do again is be the 4 corners and the center. Okay, you don't have to do that, but that's what I'm doing. Now, if you look at that picture, and I'll circle them here, they are what? 4 plus 4, 8 flying geese. Well, at this size, I didn't even want to try to make flying geese that big. I just wasn't interested in all that. So the 7-inch squares that I have cut and the 13-inch squares that I have cut, I'm going to put those together. So that's why there's 4 of each. 4 lights and 4 darks, okay? So those same sizes, I'm going to put those together and do half square triangles. I think it'll just make it so much easier. Now, something that's a little different. These are big. These 13-inch blocks are huge. And the 7-inch aren't tiny either. So I'm going to pin. But first step, 5 12.5, and it doesn't even matter what fabric you use. You'll need 5 12.5, 4 13 of light, 4 13 of dark, 4 7-inch light, 4 7-inch dark, and 4 6.5. Okay. Yes. So that's the first step. So I'm going to go ahead. I know y'all have watched me make half square triangles a zillion times. So I'm not going to do that on camera. There's no sewing with this, but we're going to come back and start to assemble once I have all the half square triangles together. Okay. And yes, I'll take some pictures of the pinning because I am going to pin to keep them from shifting for sure. That is definitely something that I can see happening, but I'm going to take that same method that I absolutely love and draw a 1/4 inch from the center on each side, sew on those lines, well, right next to those lines on the cutting side, and snip down the middle. That's going to give us 8 half square triangles of the smaller size, which will finish at 6.5, and 8 half square triangles of the larger size, which will be, I say finished, but unfinished because it's not in the quilt. So unfinished at 12.5 inches. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, so we're going to start with the center. I do have all of my smaller half square triangles finished. You will need to trim these down to 6.5 inch squares. Okay, now I got them on 2 different rows because I actually pressed towards the dark side on this row and I pressed towards the light side on that row. I prefer to press to one side and not open. You do you. It's your quilt, right? All right, so that's why they're in 2 different areas. I did grab one of the centers. I probably have to pull it up just a little bit. So this is the 12.5 inch square. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to build our center star. Okay. And this is so much fun, guys, because it is, I love stars. I don't know if you love stars, but I love stars. So I'm just, make sure it goes the correct direction. Oh, and yep, no, that's right. That's a light. So this side is pressed towards the dark. Nope, it's pressed towards the light, and this side is pressed towards the dark. So that way, when I go to sew these together, this is going to nest very nicely. Okay, so then I'm going to do the next one. And like I said, I did choose to do half square triangles instead of flying geese, just because they were big. This one's not too bad, but the next one's really bad, really big, right? And again, towards the dark, towards the light. This one's towards the dark. Now, I haven't sewn it together, so you're going to see that they're not exactly the right size yet because we have to allow for that 1/4 inch seam, okay? And I hope none of this falls. I'm a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. All right, so then and you could change this a different direction. You don't have to make the darks on the outside and the lights on the inside. You could flip them, but what we found was it really allowed the star to pop, okay? So one more, and this is towards the dark, this one's towards the light. And then we're going to take those 6.5 inch squares that we already cut, and they're going to go in the corners. Now notice they're light. If you were to flip this around, this would change the look dramatically unless you had dark squares here. All right, so there is our first star, and she's going to finish at 24.5 inches. Okay, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6 is, yep, 24.5 inches. Okay, now what I'm going to do, and I want to talk about this a little bit. I'm going to pull the rows of how I'm going to sew these together, just so you have an idea. And I'm going to talk about pressing just a little bit, because we all like things to lay flat or pretty. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, is that the right side? It is. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all of my half square triangles together. Okay, that's the first thing. After that, I'm going to start to build these into rows. We have 3 rows here. So I'm going to add this to that. Does that make sense? I'm going to add this block onto the flying geese looking thing. And I'm going to add this block to the flying geese looking thing. When I go to press, I'm going to press them going towards the solid print fabric, okay? Not towards the flying geese. And then when we go to, I'm going to press all of these together, right, first. So these then will be together, and I'll add it on here. And these will be together, and I'll add it on here. And I'm going to press again towards this solid print fabric, okay? So these will be going out, and these will be going in, so these seams will nest. And I'll do the same thing down here. I'll sew this on here and that on here, okay? And I'll press them going towards the solid print, okay? And then we're gonna add them all 3 together. And at that point, this row will be equal to this row, and this row will be equal to that row. How am I gonna press them? To be honest with you, I'm going to press them going towards this center square, okay? Because there's not any seams in here. So when I attach the first row to this row, I'm going to press that going in. When I press this row, when I attach the third row to the middle row, I'm going to press it in also. So that way, this block will lay flatter. Now, I will tell you, when I go to press my half square triangles together, you'll have to pay attention a little bit, because they're going to meet with the other half square triangles, okay? So when I go to tackle that, I'll let you know which way I ended up pressing them to give you an idea of what you can do. Again, you don't have to be exactly what I'm doing. I'm telling you why I'm doing it. It's your quilt. You can press how you like. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why, okay? That way you have an understanding of where my head's going. So I'm going to get this built first, okay? I'm going to go ahead and sew all of my half square triangles together. I'm going to attach the solid print fabrics, okay? Always pressing towards the solid prints, and then I'm going to add them all together and press towards the center, okay? So let me get that done, and I'll see you guys in just a sec. Okay, so the center square, or the center star, is finished. She is 24.5 inches square, okay? And before I move on, I want to tell you how I pressed the half square triangles together. When I sewed the half square triangles together, I made the point face my belly. So this point right here was facing me on every single one of them, and I pressed going towards the right, always going towards the right, okay? I already have the larger half square triangles finished. they will need to be trimmed down to 12.5 inches. Okay, so you should have 8 of them. And again, I pressed this side of the wall going towards the light side, and these ones going towards the dark side. Okay, so that way I know I got 4 going towards the dark, 4 going towards the light. That will allow those to nest. Okay, so now we're going to start building onto this smaller star to make the bigger star. Okay, lots of fun here. Okay, so I'm going to take a dark, and I'm going to, whoop, nope, we want to make sure we're doing it, I want to make sure they're doing it the same. And so I'll grab one of these and flip it around here. And again, I will sew the half square triangles together first, okay? Whoop, that's the light side. It's pressed towards the light, so I want it to go on the bottom here. They're all going the same direction because, like I told y'all before, the whole idea by keeping everything consistent allows for less room for error if you just keep things consistent. So this is pressing towards the dark, this is pressing towards the light, this is pressing towards the dark, this is pressing towards the light. Okay, so then we come down here, and this one's going towards the dark, and this one is going towards the light. Whoop. There we go. There we are. Now you already see this seam is going to have to nest with this seam. So I press this one to the right. So you know what I'm going to do, right? But we'll talk about that in just a second. I got to move some of these out of the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and add them. Oh, my granddaughter is absolutely going to love this quilt. Now I designed this quilt in the idea of who I was giving it to. I will be honest, if I was keeping it, this is not the type of design I'd want to do. But my granddaughter is just going to absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. She loves unicorns. This is definitely a quilt with the fabric choice done for her. Now this one is dark, pressed towards the dark. Whoop. So I'm going to put it on this side. Every one of them is on the right hand side going towards the dark. Okay, put this one up here, and I really do hope nothing falls down. Okay, there we are. So let me see how you can see it. Oh good, you can see this. Yay. All right, like I said, I think putting for us, oh, this one's wrong. Nope. There we go. These blocks are so big, it's hard to see when you're up close. It was nice. You might want to take a picture, lay it out on a table, lay it out on the floor, lay it out somewhere on your bed, and take a picture. Much better. It happens because they're so big. So when you're standing up close to it, you're not necessarily going to see everything appropriately. Okay, so oh, she's going to love this. Like I said, when we put the dark on this side, we felt like it made the stars really pop out. Okay, isn't that pretty? I'm really excited about this. I think she is absolutely going to love it. Okay, so again, the first thing I will do is it's the same thing. It's the same method. Okay, So the half square triangles are going to be sewn together first. And when I go to press them, this point will face my belly, okay? And I'm going to press towards the left, okay? Every single time, because then I know all of these are going to nest, okay? Because they're all going in the same direction. I'm going to build this, once I have all the half square triangles sewn together to look like flying geese, I'm going to build the first row. That's this one. This is the second row, okay? And this is the third row. We only have a 9 patch here, guys. So again, I will go ahead. I'm debating here. I'm going to go ahead and add this solid printed fabric to here, and I'm going to press towards the unicorns, okay? I'm going to add this one to this group and press towards the unicorns. This is one block, so when these two are sewn together, it will fit very nicely with this block, and I will press going inside. Yes, I'm going to have to contend with some seams. That is true, but it's inevitable. But that's the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to, once these are together, they will fit nicely against this center row, and I will press going in. That will allow all the seams to nest that need to. On the third row, I'm going to press towards the unicorns, press towards the unicorns once I add those 2 blocks. And then when I go to add everything together, when I add the first row to the second, I'm going to go ahead and press up and out, okay? When I add the third row to the middle row, I'm going to go ahead and press out. So I'm going to press down towards the third row, towards the first row, towards the third row, and then we should be done. So by doing all that pressing, it will allow all the, now like I said, I like to press, I tend to press 95 to 99% of the time towards one side. Every blue moon I will press open. If you're a press open, ignore me. You don't even have to do it exactly like this, but if you are a one side presser, just make sure you're flip-flopping where all your seams meet, and it should work out fine. I'm trying to eliminate, when I do some of the pressing that I'm trying to eliminate bulk. Okay, so that's why I'm going to press up. I'm going to have a little contention down here. I'm going to be contending with some bulk in this area, but it'll be fine. It will definitely be fine. But then she'll be finished, guys. Isn't that exciting? Oh, my granddaughter is just going to love it. She's a little girl, little itty bitty princess, and she loves her unicorns. So I think this will be absolutely fun for her, and gave you a great time to make a mega block for yourself. So I'm going to get this all finished, and I'll come back at you face to face in just a second. So I'll see you in just a bit. So here she is, all sewn up and beautiful. Don't you think my granddaughter's going to love it? Love this fabric for her. It is so darling. But I hope you enjoyed this mega block, learning how to make the double sawtooth star as a mega block quilt. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you will give it a shot. And if you do it, we'd love for you to share your pictures. You can do that inside Creative Kingdom, our private Facebook group. If you're not a member, you have to answer the 3 questions to get the keys to the kingdom. You can share them there. You can share them on Instagram. You can share them via email. I just would love to see your double sawtooth star mega block quilt. Again, you can use any type of fabric. You can As long as, I want to point out that you want to make sure your stars will be seen. And there are different variations that you can do with this double sawtooth that'll actually look like an X, or, you know, various different things. But you just want to make sure that you have that contrast and get the design that you would like. I also want to mention, I don't think I did at the beginning, when you go to back a 48-inch square Mega Block quilt, the backing you will need is 2 3/4 yard, and the binding is 1/2 yard. I don't think I said that at the beginning, so I wanted to put it here in case you don't go out and get that supply list, because it is on the supply list for you, which I will remind you to go and grab that. It's absolutely free on our website. But yeah, that is the Mega Block. I'm going to call it the Unicorn Mega Block for Emma Grace, my granddaughter. But at any rate, guys, that's it for this week. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you as part of the Halo family. So go ahead and hit that subscription button down below, along with the notification bell. Ting! That way you will be notified every time we upload a new video. But until next time, guys, oh, nope, you know the drill, at 3 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm here in Virginia, Eastern time, 3 p.m., I will be live on Facebook to answer any questions. We call it our live quilting and answers, live Q&A. So I will be there at 3 p.m. Next week, I'm going to share a little how-to. So hope I'll see you again next week. But until next time, guys, or until 3 p.m. today, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful, never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. I love y'all. Happy quilting. Happy Wednesday. Whoop, whoop. See y'all soon.